That Easter Sunday started like any other long haul, Chicago to St. Louis, the endless ribbon of I-55 shimmering under the brutal sun. But this time felt different. A prickling unease, a premonition clinging to me like the humid air. My dad's voice, 15 years gone, but still echoing in my head, "Slow down, son," haunted my sleep the night before, a familiar warning in a dream laced with the bittersweet scent of pancakes from our old diner stops. It was a feeling, a sixth sense, a whisper from the past that I couldn't shake. Then chaos. A reckless compact car, a blur of metal, and a monstrous 18-wheeler bearing down on me. Time fractured. Brakes screamed, hearts pounded, and a prayer, a choked plea, escaped my lips. We were inches from oblivion. 3 lives hanging by a thread, a near miss etched in the raw terror of that instant. Later, at the patrol station, a haven of cool shade and strong coffee, Victor, my brother's buddy, showed me the footage. The accident itself was harrowing enough, but it was the periphery that truly stopped me cold. Something otherworldly flickered in the background, a fleeting image, unexplained, unsettling. Was it a guardian angel, a glitch in the system, or just the lingering effects of a brush with death? I don't know, and maybe I'm better off not knowing. But that Easter Sunday, I got a second chance, and a memory that will keep me staring over my shoulder for a long time to come. The image seared itself into my memory, the screech of tires, the sickening crunch of metal, the near miss that left me shaken but alive. 3 days later, a frantic call from Mark yanked me back to that Easter Sunday. "You have got to see this," he'd rasped, his voice tight with unease. "It's not just the accident. There's something else." A cold dread settled in my gut, something on the security footage, something inexplicable. Sleep was a distant memory that night. Every creak of the motel's aging frame sounded like a footstep, closing in. Sunrise found me back at the depot, my heart hammering a frantic rhythm against my ribs. Mark, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe, ushered me into the dimly lit surveillance room. The accident replayed on the screen. My truck, the other car, the split-second decision that had averted disaster. Then he paused, zooming in on the blurred roadside. A ghostly white shape materialized, a fleeting silhouette that seemed to stand beside my truck as I slammed on the brakes, vanishing as quickly as it appeared. "See it?" Mark breathed, his voice barely a whisper. My breath hitched. It was impossible. The shape of the robe, the posture, the gentle curve of the outstretched hands. It's the Virgin Mary," I whispered, the words catching in my throat. The weight of what I'd seen crushed me. I stumbled out, my legs feeling leaden, my mind reeling. I slumped into my truck, the metallic scent of the cab doing little to ground me. My dad, a quiet man of simple faith, always said the truest miracles came softly. A gentle breeze, a subtle reflection in a still pond, a whisper in the wind. And that's precisely what this felt like. A whisper that had deflected death itself. That night I dreamt of him. Not a warning this time, but a silent presence standing beside me, watching the road. I woke in tears, a profound certainty blossoming in my heart. This wasn't just my story. This Easter Sunday miracle belonged to anyone who'd ever felt a hand on their shoulder on a dark road, to everyone who clings to the flicker of faith in a cynical world. Because I saw it, undeniable proof captured on grainy security footage, death had brushed past me, and someone, something, had intervened. The Virgin Mary. The sunrise found me back at the depot, the image burning behind my eyelids. The air in the surveillance room hung heavy with the metallic tang of old electronics and the unspoken dread hanging between Mark and me. He didn't need words. He just poured me a steaming mug of coffee, the warmth a small comfort against the overwhelming sense that I had been touched by something sacred, something beyond my comprehension, something I could no longer keep silent. He'd shown me the crucial footage, but there was more. He rewound the dashcam recording, stopping just before the jarring halt. "Look closer," he urged. There, at the back of my rig, a fleeting glimpse, just before the brakes locked up. A white figure, seemingly already beside me, a faint yet distinct form. Not a glitch, not dust motes, not a trick of the light. It was her. My heart hammered against my ribs. I stared, transfixed at that ghostly figure, the shape of the cloak, the tilt of her head, hands clasped in prayer. It was the same Virgin Mary that's been hanging from my rearview mirror since I inherited Dad's truck. "See it," Victor whispered, eyes glued to the screen. I nodded, speechless, overwhelmed. He'd shown 3 others: a priest, a local engineer, a highway patrol officer. No logical explanation. Apparition, they'd all agreed. I sank into the wooden chair, a crushing weight settling on my chest, 1,000 tons of unspoken things. And then, the memories flooded back. Mom's quiet prayers before each trip, Dad stopping at every roadside shrine to leave a flower, light a candle. My first solo run, hands shaking as I crested those dawn-lit mountains, clutching that cross on the mirror like a lifeline. Leaving the room, the air thick with the scent of damp earth, I sat by the trailer tire, closed my eyes, and prayed. A real prayer, not out of fear, not rote, but from the heart, a prayer of gratitude. That night, I slept in the cab, dreaming I was driving down a sunlit road with Dad beside me, his old cap perched on his head, a weary but loving smile on his face. "You saw her, son," he said. "Now you know you're never truly alone out here." I woke with a burning heart, cleansed, a crack in my soul letting faith pour in. I dressed, started the engine, and headed for Denver. The radio hummed, an old song about hope filling the air. For the first time, I wasn't racing against the clock. I was running with it. Every stop was different. Every diner, every taco stand, a picture of the Virgin Mary. At every gas station, someone had a story. A trucker who saw a white figure in the fog. Another who felt a hand on his shoulder just before a near miss. Stories I'd once dismissed now resonated deeply. I had my own story and I couldn't keep it locked away. I had to share it so others would know, so no one would doubt the miracles that happen on the open road. In Omaha, an elderly woman served me barbecue tacos, listening intently as I told my tale, her eyes widening with each detail. She shared her own story, a near-miss accident, a shimmering light guiding her to safety. Divine intervention, she called it. Her words were a balm, confirming the inexplicability of what I'd seen. The weight lifted, replaced by peace and understanding. The road ahead wasn't a solitary path anymore. It was a shared journey, a testament to faith reborn. One day, over a meal, my mother's gaze felt strangely knowing. "Something's in your eye, son," she said, her words hinting at something. Deeper than a speck of dust. I just nodded, speechless. Maybe she understood. Maybe she'd walked a similar road. Later, a kid at a greasy spoon handed me a saint medal, a small weighty thing for protection, he said. I tucked it in my wallet, the gesture breaking my heart a little. From then on, every time I hit the road, the crucifix hanging from my rearview mirror became a silent prayer, a touchstone against the relentless grind of potholes, traffic, and impatient customers. The journey changed. It became a pilgrimage. I started seeing further, hearing things I'd missed before. One night, in a near-empty chapel bathed in the glow of a single candle, I just wept, offering silent thanks. It hit me then. That blurry figure in the camera wasn't a fluke. It was a sign, a divine nudge. We highway nomads, chasing miles and horizons, need those moments of stillness, of connection to something beyond the asphalt, the reminder that we aren't alone on this long, strange trip. Deep down, we all know those days when an unseen hand guides us. A voice whispers to slow down, to breathe, that comforting certainty that alters everything. The next week, I was back on the road, but something inside had shifted. Not the gears, the cargo, or the odometer, but me. A quiet faith, a deep-seated calm settled into my chest. Every curve, every bridge, every hill brought that ghostly white figure back, a persistent whisper of watchful presence. Oklahoma, Texas. Everywhere I looked, I saw it. A candle's flame, a religious icon in a window, a message scrawled on a bathroom mirror. God is with you. Trust the journey. Messages I'd always overlooked, now blazing with newfound clarity. Exhausted one afternoon on Route 66, I sat in a diner nursing chili and a soda. An old man across from me, a stranger, listened patiently as I poured out my story. The image, the feeling, the dreams. He smiled, knowingly. Sometimes, he said, God doesn't bellow. He just shows himself. Why me? I asked, my voice choked with emotion. Because you looked, he answered. Because you stopped. Most people see and drive on, but you stopped. And that's what changed everything. I drove for hours, the wind my only companion, a profound sense of presence filling the cab. Days later, I went back to Hank's, requesting a print of the image. He handed me a stark black and white photograph, grainy yet undeniably her. Intention unmistakable. I stared, captivated for minutes. That Easter Sunday, everything changed. I'd been through hell, scraping by, and felt utterly alone on that endless ribbon of I-40. Then a whisper, a feeling, a presence so real, it shook me to my core. I pulled over, a trembling hand scribbling a thank you note, a desperate plea for a second chance, and left it at a roadside shrine, a makeshift altar of candles, flowers, and a weathered wooden cross. The truckers, each with their own ghosts and graces, soon gathered there, a silent communion of shared sorrow and unshakable faith. Now, every time I pass that spot, I turn down the radio, touch my dad's cross hanging from the mirror, and breathe a silent prayer. It wasn't a Hollywood miracle, no booming voice or blinding light, just a gentle nudge, a feeling that someone, something, had my back. A week later, Mom was waiting at home, her familiar apron, her knowing eyes. She didn't need an explanation. She just hugged me, that same hug from childhood. From an old box, she pulled out a worn holy card, Dad's, its faded blue ink proclaiming, "Where the road ends, faith begins." I carry that card, and the one from that diner kid, as twin talismans nestled in my wallet. I met another trucker in Arizona, a man who understood the language of the lonely road, the weight of unspoken experiences. We shared stories, our shared silence more profound than words. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was about the unseen hand guiding us all, the quiet moments of grace that stitched together the long, hard miles. Driving I-40 now isn't a race, it's a pilgrimage. I slow down, feeling the pulse of something larger than myself. When people ask about miracles, I tell them about the white shape in my rearview mirror, the shadow that warned me, the wind that whispered reassurance. Maybe it was Dad, maybe Mary, maybe something else entirely, but I know this: I'm not alone on the road anymore. If you've ever felt a hand on your shoulder, a voice in the stillness, a sudden shift that saved you, believe it. It wasn't a coincidence. Was it God? I don't know, but it was real. If this story resonated, hit subscribe. We share the open road, the truth, the tears, and the faith that keeps us driving on. Was it God? Maybe. But it was real. Subscribe to hear more true stories from the road. We built this life together, brick by brick, fueled by grit, unwavering faith, and a shared vision. That quintessential American dream. It all started on the Kansas plains, that vast, open heartland, where the pioneering spirit of our forefathers still whispers in the wind, shaping our every move.